So in today's webinar, we're going to give you a brief overview of what's been happening. Okay, so we'll outline the webinar series, so the three webinars that have already happened. And then we're going to start focusing in on the student voice. What is it? How do Solent and QAHE channel this student voice and feedback? We're then going to have the opportunity to explore what the Student Representative Council is. And I think we are lucky enough today to have one of our representatives on the call. So they'll be able to give us a bit of context and knowledge about their experience during the last year. We've also been able to get hold of two IFP alumni, Syed and Mohandas, who will be talking to us about their journey through the pathway and into Solent, and how their journey actually led them to being within the Solent Student Union. So we'll learn a bit about the Student Union. And then I will finish off just explaining to you a little bit about the IFP student experience here at Solent. Now, looking at the attendees list, I can't see any students today, but it'll be always useful in the chat if you could just share us where you are, who you are, and potentially what region you are working with or supporting. So we have a sense in centre of what kind of students we might be expecting this September or October, sorry. So this is the webinar series so far. I believe my colleague Jolene, who's on the call, facilitated our last webinar, which was a look into our English modules and specifically the business module. I can see that Cully saying it's not so sunny in Birmingham. You're in the wrong part of the UK there. We're blessed to have the seaside, well, the sea and the sun here today in Southampton. So today's webinar will be focusing on the student voice and experience, and hopefully we'll have a bit of insight and context from some of the students joining us. So first of all, you would have heard a lot about the student voice, I imagine, within HE and FE. The student voice is about prioritising the students' feedback and ensuring that students, when they are participating within the university and they're giving us feedback, it is genuine, and the university takes that and ensures that there is impact to that experience, be it the academic programs, be it the experience. But it's going beyond just asking students to complete a survey and saying we're going to do something. It's about involving the student in that co-creation of programs and experiences. And we're going to look at how we empower our QAHE students to be involved within that and shape their educational journey. It's really important that students are involved within that because it ensures that we have students engaged throughout that learning process. And it gives us that context that necessarily maybe managers and academics can't provide. So it's really important that we harness the student voice to ensure that we're providing the best programs possible for students coming through our programs here at Solent. Here I've tried to identify our feedback channels and how we harness the student voice. You'll see it starts at the top and it kind of filters its way down. If you are a student or are working with students, we will be in touch with those students in late August, early September with a questionnaire for us to get a sense of what students we should be expecting and what kind of support they might need. So that's a really important first touch point for us within the student voice. I'm not going to go through all of these, but as you can see, we have a real detailed mechanism to trying to capture the student voice and ensure that our students have their feedback heard and acted upon. The key points we're going to focus on today is the student representatives. This is a particular role that we facilitate within the program. And then we're going to go into how these student representatives feed into the university and the student union. Here you would have seen a slide similar to this before in one of our webinars, and this is about why we're trying to collate the student voice, and that is through these four elements, and that is our student empowerment. So we want to make sure that students are empowered within our program. And what I mean by this is it's not just a catchphrase, it's how do we capture that student's voice? And that's through effective focus groups and also using the Student Representative Council to empower students through having their voices and feedback heard. Integration's a really key one. Integration runs through the center of all of our programs, and that is how do we integrate our students within not just our college pathway, but also in our partner university. And we work hard to integrate students so they can access all Solent services, such as the student union, to ensure that they feel acculturated and safe and secure within the university or here at Solent. The two final ones, academic development. The way we develop our programs is by hearing what our students are telling us. So as you would have seen in the previous slide, we identified there are module focus groups, there are particular surveys which we implement to gather feedback from students regarding the type of assessments, how we're facilitating classrooms, to ensure that when we're delivering, our academics are meeting the needs of our students, ensuring that we get that academic development. And now the fourth and final piece, and I think the biggest one for me at the moment, is student experience. We really want to improve and enhance our student experience, and the only way we can do that is by working cooperatively with our students, with the student union, with our student representatives, to ensure that the student experience that we provide here at the Pathway Centre at Solent is second to none, is meeting our students' needs, both inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom. How can we facilitate different sessions, different activities? How can we connect students into the university to ensure that that student experience is the best possible student experience? And we do all of this through those feedback channels in which I identified to you guys earlier. Now here, I know that Chidamanga is on the call, but I thought I'd give you guys a bit of a sense of what our Student Representative Council is here at QAHE. And then I was going to hand over to Chidi. Chidi, are you on the call? Can you just give me a yes or no via audio?
Yes.
Hey, fantastic. Cool. So Chidi, what I'll do is I'll give everybody a bit of an explainer to what the Representative Council is. And then if I could hand over to you for you to tell us who you are and what role you played this year within the council. So our Student Representative Council links into the Solent University feedback mechanisms. This council is made up through different members of the Solent Pathway students. They apply for this role at the start of the year to be part of the council. The council meets, I'd say, 2 to 3 times each academic term. And the purpose of this council is to provide an opportunity for a group of students that have been selected to gather feedback from their student peers and present it to myself, the course lead, and also our link tutor, who is a Solent representative. This feedback is then used to guide our program meetings and to ensure that whatever the students are saying is being implemented at a university level and change is being made. Chidi, could I hand over to you? Could you tell us a little bit about who you are, what IFP pathway you studied, and what you're progressing on to at Solent?
Okay. Do I need to take off my video? Is it okay if I leave it off?
That's fine. That's okay.
Okay. So my name is Chimdumaga Okoizu. I was on the IFP on the STEM pathway, and myself, and a couple of other people, Gia, Yassin, Jola, and Nizar, we're all part of the student reps for the October cohort. We tried to do like surveys, either from observations in class, or would hand out like Google Forms, just to see how everybody was getting along, how everybody was settling into the UK, what issues they were having, both academically and just generally in the UK. And we'll pass that along and have meetings and discussions to see how we could help or change things for either ourselves or the next set, just to improve things. We should try to do like social activities to serve as a bonding way to help to get like the students together. So I would say that's kind of what we did this year.
Thanks. And Chidi, just let's focus on those, because I think a big thing that the group identified this year was opportunities to socialize with peers outside of the classroom. So you guys worked on a few different social activities. Can you explain to the participants today what kind of social activities that you guys pushed for and developed?
Oh yeah. So the first one we did was in December, I would say. It was like a social activity for like it was a winter social. We had food, drinks, music, and we played a couple of games. A couple of students came down. It was nice to interact with students outside of the classroom area. And another one we had was, it was like a game. It was like it was a social day where we went out. We went to an arcade, and we also had I'm trying to remember what the word for that is, but yeah, we cooked together, we made tacos, and it was nice just to see students like work together, get the ingredients for the food, try to cook together. And it was particularly more interesting because a bunch of us had never tried that before. So yeah.
That's cool. And just through those social activities, am I right in saying that through the IFP and through those social activities, you've created friendships in which then you are now going to live with those friends next year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. G and I met through the IFP, and we're both student reps, and it just kind of helped us like form a bond outside of like uni, and we're going to be living together next year, so that's nice. And Jola and I as well, we met through the IFP, and Yassin as well. And most of the friendships were formed outside of the classroom experience, and just then being together in the same space just helped that go forward.
Chidi, that's really helpful. Thank you very much. Also, congratulations on your results. Can you just let everybody know which progressing degree you're going on to at Solent University?
Well, I'll be progressing onto computing in October of this year.
Fantastic. Look, thank you very much for your time, Chidi. Could I ask that you stay on the call potentially to answer any questions at the end? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Thank you very much. Look, participants, the main aim for this little segment is for you guys to get a sense of, we're doing lots of stuff outside of the classroom and we want to do more, okay? And Chidi and the group that she worked with this year, as you can see on the slides, worked really hard, and they identified that the IFP, the pathway which we run, needs more social activities. So what we did is we allocated a budget to them in which they could create social activities, gatherings, social lunches, to share their culture, to create friendships, and develop a bit more of a bond outside of the classroom. And, you know, as Chidi's identified right there, through those friendships has led to, you know, long-lasting connections in which this student specifically will go on and live with IFP alumni too. So it's fantastic. And this is something that we really want to continue to grow and develop with the support of the next Student Representative Council. What I'd like to do now is to kind of step you guys forward a little bit. So the student you just heard from is Chidamanga. She's just progressed into the university successfully. So she is a student from this year. Who I'd like to introduce you to now is two great students, actually, both business pathway students, Mohandas and Syed. Now, these students are very interesting as they progressed into the university and have found fantastic roles within the student union. I'm going to stop talking because I think we need to hand over to them. So I'm going to hand over to Mohandas first, who's going to introduce himself, and then we'll be followed by Syed. So Mohandas, over to you.
Thanks, Jacob. Hi, guys. As you can see, my name is Mohandas Jaikma. So with IFP, what I started was on like the business pathway role. So that kind of gave me like during the foundation, like that kind of gave me an opportunity to network and everything. So that's one of the key things that I did during my foundation year, apart from the studies, is like network with people, which in kind of helped me when after my first year, I decided to run for this role, my VP education role, which is what like I did at the Students' Union, where I represented the student voice from the education side of things. So I was studying bachelor's in accounting and finance. So this opportunity came by. Then students are reluctant. Why do you have to go after first year? Their studies, and I was like, why not? There are things that needs to be changed. So I thought like, why not let me do it myself? So I ran my campaign, got my votes and everything, got elected, got into it. It was pretty good for me. I'll tell more about this later on the slides. So I did my bachelor's in accounting. I'm doing my bachelor's in accounting finance. So now being back to student, I'm from Sri Lanka. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Syed?
Hello, thank you, Mom. How are you? Okay.
I'm good.
Hello, everyone. My name is Syed Hussain, and Mohandas is my classmate. Obviously, we started foundation program in same year, and from October, and
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah. And my pathway was business as well. And after completing my foundation program, I was leading towards the business management with marketing. And recently I completed my second year. And now I am here as a VP Communities and Wellbeing at the Student Union. And my foundation program was full of highs and lows. Because I started being a very overwhelmed student, and actually I have had some study gaps as well after my higher secondary level. After getting into foundation, yeah, everything was very different for me, including the language barrier, the academic system, and everything. But I was really in good hands. I really like to thank Jolene, and whenever I see her, I thank her all the time. Like basically, because of her coaching session, she brought some of the senior students as well, so that they can explain to us like how things are at the university, and that really helped me to progress further. And even though I started being a weak student, in the end, I was surprised to get a certificate that I was the most improved student in the foundation program. So thank you very much. And that was like really a foundation year for me. And I really appreciate it.
Hey guys, look, thank you very much for that initial introduction. I hope the participants on this webinar understand both your journeys, how you progressed on to the university, and specifically how you then managed to get yourselves elected for two really impressive roles in, I'm right in saying Vice President for
Jacob,
Education.
if I may add.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Just wanted to let you know, like as Syed mentioned, like both of us are mature students. We are not students right after school or something, so we have our gaps. So it's not like you can't come here and succeed. So if you have questions, like yeah, just look at us. Like we have come, we have studied, and we have done things. So I just want to add that.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I think that speaks to the flexibility of the program. You know, we're open to support any student that's willing to engage with us and see the benefits of progressing through a foundation program and into Solent. So I think, gentlemen, you're very welcome here, and we're really happy to hear your stories. What I'd like to do now, Syed, is if you could give us a sense of, we learned about your role. You know, you've come through the IFP, you've done business, you're a business management student with marketing, but now you found yourself elected as the role of VP for Communities and Wellbeing. Am I right in saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what will be helpful for, I think, the attendees today is, could you just tell us a little bit about the student union here at Solent? What's its purpose? What do you guys get up to? And then I think you can hand over to Syed, to Mohandas, as he's maybe somewhat a little bit more experienced in telling us a bit more about the initiatives the student union have done. So first to you, Syed.
Oh, thank you very much, Jacob. So basically, Student Union is an independent charity, which is led by student for student organization. And basically, Student Union represent the voice of student. They make sure the students' feedbacks and their concerns are being heard. To the maybe it could be to the administration of the university or faculty, or maybe to the other relevant departments available. And it also acts as a voice for the students on issues affecting their education, maybe campus life, or their total well-being as well. So that's the purpose of SEU. I would like to maybe ask Mohandas if he wants to add something about it as well. Mohandas, it's over to
Okay.
you now.
Yeah. No, there was voice overlapping. Sorry, thought like I'll finish that. Yeah, like most of it is what Syed mentioned. So basically, like SU is there so that like the students can have the best overall university experience. So what you can do within the university. So when you come to the university, how we could support you and like how we can take forward. Either it be like the campus life that you're looking at, or the careers that you're looking at, or anything like from your accommodation, or anything that you would face within the city, or you're feeling, let's say, homesick, you don't know where to go and everything, you can always reach out to the student union and ask them. So there will always be people to help. So that's the only thing I wanted to add.
Thank you.
Yeah. So shall I start, Jacob? Okay. So these are some of the initiatives that the Solent Student Union does. So the SU exchange. So basically, the idea was like if you would have been seeing news like for the past 1.5 years across the world, so the cost of living is affecting everybody, and especially students here at the university. It's affecting very much. So when you're an international student, you come here and you're there finding your part-time jobs or anything, and you're looking at, oh my God, like this is very expensive, and how to do so. That's why we started this initiative. So how this works is like you pay £5 per semester to the union, and every week you can come in and like take like 5 different items that you can get. So we would have like rice, pasta, tinned food, like biscuits, chocolates, and everything that you could find at the exchange. So this is basically, we know it's not like very much, but this is something that could help you towards like saving your extra cost or anything that you're going to buy it from outside or something like that. So we have like toilet rolls and everything, so that like we could help you all out. And Safe Solent was a free taxi service that we used to provide from library to your halls of accommodation. So how that used to work is like, while during like exam period, like from December to Jan and like April to May, we used to give Safe Solent like when the library was like from after 6 p.m. till like 11 p.m. so that when it's late in the night, you don't need to worry about getting how are you going to go back home or anything like that. You can still be there. Order a taxi, you will get it in front of the library, you get in and they will drop you right in front of your house. So this for safety of the students, so we did that. And academic advice service, that is a service that is run by the union, which is completely independent from the university. So if you have any issues, anything related to academic advice, like academics, you can always come out to the SU, speak to the academic advisor and be like, oh, I have this issue, so what do I do? Sometimes there might be feedbacks that you might be getting, your grades might not be there, so you don't know what has happened, what exactly that means. So how do you know? Like you can always go to the student union and be like, okay, this is what we need to do. Then they will tell you, okay, this is what you need to do. Reach out to this person, or they will reach out on behalf of you and ask for a response, and they will let you know what has happened and how things could work and everything. This is just to make your experience life easier. And also course representative training. So I was a VP education. So basically course reps comes under me. So they fall under me. So we design a training program at the start of the year. So when you get elected as a course representative, last year we did for the student reps of the QAHE too, where we give them training about like what are the services that are there, how they could help students if there's an issue, how they could reach out. They act like as a middleman between the students and the union, so that in case if students are like or like overwhelmed to come to the union. They don't know what it is. It's a new thing. The student reps could bring the issue to us. Then we can sort them out and we can share the feedback to them so they can take it over. Because sometimes student might be more comfortable talking to another student than coming directly into the union. That be where they will be like, oh, I don't know anyone. How am I going to go and speak? We see a lot of that because you're a long way from home. You don't know what to do and things like that. And also there's events throughout the year. So one is like Freshers Fair when you guys come around October, so by that time Freshers Fair would be over. So the next year you would be able to see that. So we do the Freshers Fair, and towards the Welcome Week, the 2 weeks, we have different events from like karaoke nights, bingos and games nights and everything. So we have those that we have planned out. Freshers Fair is an event where 2 days, like you have like all the societies of the university being there, all the university services being there, then also external organizations coming in, advertising their services where you could go around. So it's a 2-day event. It starts from 10, goes on till 4 p.m. You can walk in anytime. There'll be free food, there'll be flyers, there'll be people who would give, like you might even find jobs there. When you come in there, sometimes the companies might be like, oh, we have part-time jobs, apply through this, apply through that. So that will be a good opportunity for you all to know. And also most of the student ambassador roles get advertised that too. So student ambassadors are someone who work at the university during events. So some of them get recruited during the Freshers Fair. So these are the things. And especially like I would always say to an international student, find a society that you like and try to join it, because that kind of helps you get over the homesickness that you would come with because you don't know the people. Or if you can't find a society, and if you can find 5 people who have the same thing that you want to do, start a society. It's as simple as that. It's free. You can always join them and everything. Yeah, mostly, yeah. This is what I want to say. You're on mute, Jacob.
I'm unmuting myself. Sorry. Look, guys, thank you so much for that. I'm going to put you in the hot seat just for a second. I think, first of all, the SU Exchange is such a great initiative. And just so kind of our participants understand, the student union recognized that things were getting more expensive for students, right? So what you guys did is you developed, as we can see in the slides, an initiative where you set up a shop as such, and students can access it on a weekly basis, and they pay a nominal fee of around about £5, and they can access essential items. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Guys, this is what we're talking about, is how Solent goes beyond to ensure that student experience and our students are really well supported. Again, I think I really liked the mention of Safe Solent. So Safe Solent is a taxi service, right, to ensure when students finish later at the library, they can get home via a fully paid for taxi service to ensure that students get home safely and effectively. This is amazing. Really, really cool initiatives. The final one, Mohandas, you mentioned is societies, and this is something that I'm really trying to push because it fits into that integration that we're talking about. Societies are these fantastic clubs where students can come together over a passion, over an interest, and create those long-lasting friendships. So, for instance, you might be a really keen chess player or pool player. You can get together and join or create a society through that passion, and Solent will support that, and the student union will help manage that group. Is that correct, Mohandas?
Yeah. And also just to add, like societies are not just like academic or like fun stuff. There are faith societies too at the university. So we have Christian society, we have Islamic society, we have an Hindu society. So if you don't have to just join it for fun. So let's say if you want to be like faith related, you can join one of them. So they have events. They all go to the temples and mosques together. Some become friends. So those are the things, and celebrate the festivals together. So this kind of would help you like overcoming, mostly like making you feel at ease when you come into the university. So for starters, like I'm starting a business and finance society next year. So if there's IFP students from the business pathway, they can come and join so that they get to know who are they gonna like do with the first years, second years, like how they are doing it. So they can just get an idea how things are going to be for them.
That's amazing. I'm going to hold you to that, Mohandas. So I'm going to come and find some information regarding that society next year, because I know that we're going to have some business students. Right, hot seat time. Syed, why did you want to be a VP in the student union? What was why did you want to do it?
I'd like to mention my friend Mohandas about it actually, because before he was there, I literally didn't have any idea what Solent Student Union is. I literally have no idea what it is. So it comes under like networking again, like in the foundation. Yeah, obviously we're like talking about many things. We exchanged our views and stuff like this, how we are thinking about the studies and everything. So obviously from that point we knew each other very well. So whenever I used to see him, like even when he was elected as a VP of education, I used to go to him and ask like how things work there, and what's the purpose of SU, the question I answered just earlier, and things like that. So he gave me all the information regarding this, and he was actually pushing me for this year to run the election. So I thought like I'm a student who will be looking forward to get a job in the end of the course as well.
Yeah.
So before getting to that job, if I could get any corporate sort of experience where I will learn about negotiation, about policy making and stuff like this, and obviously that will help me to improve my confidence as well. So this sort of thing actually helped me to push myself out of my comfort zone. So all credit goes to Mohandas, and I really thank him again.
Hey, thanks, that's Syed. Mohandas, on to you.
Yeah, I mean, before I start my one, so Syed forgot like why he really wanted to go for this role, because like basically Syed wanted to improve like the well-being side for the students, like mental health and everything. So he wanted to introduce more support to it, and he wanted students to feel welcome. So if they have any issues, they don't need to go anywhere, so they can do it within the universities. And he also wanted to help them with the better accommodation issues, like sort them out and things like that. Was the main reason that he wanted to run, even though I pushed him. So that's what he wanted to change.
Sorry, I forgot to mention my manifestos. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So my basic thing, like why I ran in the first place, was like there were things like the course rep system, like the feedback being fed into the university, how it's being affected and things like that. So I was looking at it. So I was a course rep before I became the sabbatical officer. So I was trying to feed it back. Then I was looking at, I didn't know where the loop went, like who to go to. So I say the course leader. So we don't know how the system works and everything. I was like, why is it such a mess? Like maybe it's time to change. So I was tired of doing that. So that I was like, okay, maybe I'll run for it. Then that's it. That's especially why I went for VP education than any other role, is because I wanted to change something. So right now, like I have left it a lot better than where I took over, like where there was like it was disorganized. It was like completely broken, to be fair. Now to have it all together, and like I know my Sunny Dia is the next VP education. I know she will take it to even greater heights. So now I've left it at a better place. I've given her a proper handover on where things are, how it stands, and also for the student voice on the academic side of it. Because like as VP education, you sit on different committees. If I have to mention a few, like we sit on the university's education committee, we sit on the academic board. I sit on like I used to sit on departmental academic committees, which is like a year, like yearly thrice they have the meetings where the departments come together and they discuss what are the issues within the departments, how are the students' feedback coming into it. So every time, like if you see, basically sabbatical roles is like going one meeting after the other, so putting out student role, getting feedback from them. So they are constantly getting feedback, feeding it in, getting feedback and feeding it in. Okay, from the outside might look very glamorous, but there's a lot of work that they do behind too, where you wouldn't see most of the time, where they stay late, they send emails, they send reports, they ask for feedback, they ask on what progress that it's been done. It's a good experience to have on your CV too, because like the companies or anyone that's gonna looking to employ you, they already know you've gone through all this, you've been there, you've done this, so they are very confident that they could give you a job. So that's basically the reason I joined, like to get a hold of everything.
So guys, it sounds like a lot of work. Does that mean that with this role you both have it was a secondment, is that correct?
Well,
it sounds like the jobs that you guys were doing or will be doing, Syed, is a lot of work. So just correct me, is it a secondment that you're doing?
I mean, no, it's not common what we are doing.
No, a secondment. So you don't study.
All right. So for this year, actually, yeah, it's sort of a secondment, like for only this year.
Mhm.
So basically, a sabbatical officer can run up to 2 years if he wants to, if he or she wants to. So basically, I paused my study for this year,
Yeah.
and then from next year, I have planned to continue with my third year as well. So if I want to continue next year, I have to go through the election again
Mhm.
and get elected. So for Mohandas as well, it was like same criteria for all the
So it was a
process. basically.
sabbatical role. Do you guys get any kind of payment for this work?
Yes, we do get paid. It's a paid job. So sabbatical roles are paid jobs. So I think this year it was 22,000 a year that they get paid. So and also it increase like yeah, it's a paid job. So it's not like you're going to do all this work just for free. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Thanks, Jacob, for bringing that. It's like anywhere, it's a paid job. So we get paid for all the duties that we do in and more like it pays one good side, and more than that, like the satisfaction of doing something and the number of students that it impacts is another thing. And the third thing is like the amount of networking that you could do when you go for this, because like you generally, like when you're in a university, you wouldn't get an opportunity to meet the vice chancellor or pro vice chancellor on a basis where you could just send them a Teams message and they will be ready to meet you. That would never happen. Like if you're a student and you send them an email, like usually it's someone else who is going to respond to you. So these are the connections that you could make and everything. So yeah.
No, that's
And
really, I appreciate it. Carry on, Syed.
oh,
Sorry.
sorry, yeah, I just want to add one thing, like when you are a sabbatical officer and you are coming up with new, fresh ideas from your mind to change things that will really help and benefit students. So you come with the ideas, and when you talk to your teams about it, and when you see actually the change happening, that's the real satisfaction comes from your mind actually, and that's when you feel very proud. So I think it's a mixture of all sort of taste to be a sabbatical officer, not only money or not only like experience or anything like this. So it's a mixture of many things that you'll get here. So if anyone like one of the representative earlier, I've found her very confident as well. So I think if she wants to go forward for and wants to take 1 year off and wants to take any of the positions, there will be election each year. She can come and go for the election and campaign. So we will be here to help as well with any sort of information she or he needs, whoever wants to go and run the election. So we'll be here, guys. Don't worry.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chidamango, there you go. That's helpful advice there.
Yeah, and also the elections happen around Jan or Feb, so that's when you look at the website when the nominations happen and everything. Yeah, as Syed said, if you all need any help, if you all don't know like how it's been done, what you all want to know, or help with campaigning, you can always reach out to us and say like, oh, I want to run, can you help me with this? We are happy if another student from IFP runs and gets it, so that will be like 3 in a row. So we would be much happier to have that, not gonna lie. And also like this role kind of helps you like to see how a university works in a way, like, and also like change is not as easy as we think when we are students. Why can't this be changed? Why can't that be changed? And also like you get to know summer is never really like a holiday break for the universities. That's the most amount of work that you do if you're working in a university summer period. So you all get to know all those stuff when you become a sabbatical officer, and you get to see it firsthand how it is and everything.
Hey, look, gentlemen, thank you so much. I think the webinar attendees have just seen, I mean, this is perfectly identified that kind of community that we're trying to build here with the IFP and ensuring that students support students, right? Like, right there, you're saying, Chidamango, you come across as really confident. We think you could be a fantastic sabbatical officer, and that's what we want to continue to develop. So thank you very much, guys. And to the webinar attendees, I really hope this section's kind of identified what the student union is, but also the roles within the student union. And these roles, as we can see right here, are available to students that you're working with or students that are on this call today. once they progress from the IFP into their first year of studies, they can then look at applying for positions that are paid, that present that satisfaction, as Syed said, that present that opportunity to experience, as Mohandas identified, the opportunity to access different people within the university that a typical student wouldn't have. So look, guys, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. Can I ask that you just stay on the call?
Yeah.
There might be some questions, you never know. And I'm just going to slide through because we've got a few more slides and then it'll be over to questions and answers. So thank you very much again for your time, guys. So what I want to finish on, and it's kind of been touched on throughout today's webinar, is the IFP, so the International Foundation Programme student experience. And the students that are on the call can kind of speak a bit more on this in the question answer. But what we try to deliver here is integrated services. So what we mean by that is when an IFP student comes onto Solent University campus, they will have direct access to every service which Solent students can access. So that can go from counselling and mental health support, it could go to guided learning support, access to the library, access to all facilities. It is the same no matter if you're an IFP student or a Solent student, okay? But in addition to this, we offer a few different strands. We have a standalone welcome week and orientation week, as Mohandas identified earlier. When IFP students enter Solent University, they enter a slightly delayed time. They come in October, which means that the university have actually already completed their induction and welcome weeks. So we, as a centre, deliver our own welcome week and orientation week in cooperation with Solent to ensure that students have that experience of being inducted to a university and learning about the different facilities and services available to them. We have an enhanced on-campus support in that you will have, as a Solent student, you will have access to all of those services identified, but also you have an office team manned by myself, a program support specialist called Linda, who you would have seen on these calls, and also Jolene, who is our program lead. So we're that added layer of support and safety if you've got any specific questions or needs that need to be addressed. So we'll be here on campus in addition to all of that Solent University support. As we've heard already from Chidamanga earlier, we have engaging social activities, and this is something that we're really trying to put a bit more funding into and a bit more thought by working with our student representatives to ensure that those activities are super engaging and meet the wants and needs of our students. And then finally, I think this call literally just summarized it. We have a connected community. What we're trying to do is create connections, not just within the pathway, but also with progressing alumni like the likes of Syed and Mohandas here today. We want to try and bring our community together and grow that. And what I'm hoping, Mohandas, I'm going to hold you to this, is we create, or Syed, we look to create an IFP society so we can continue to grow that community here at Solent. So that's kind of the student experience in a nutshell. What I'm going to do now is, I believe my next slide is question and answer. So we're at 10 to 12. So people do feel free if you want to drop off, but I am going to stick here for the next 5 to 10 minutes for any questions that people may have. I will ask for our students just to stick around for a little bit. But again, thank you so much for your time today, everybody. Really appreciate you attending. Our next webinar will be about life in Southampton. So that'll be covering accommodation, what it's like to live in the city. And I do believe we've twisted Mohandas's arm and he might be joining us there to ensure that we have a bit more student context. I've got a few people joining, but I'm happy for people to pop off if they want to pop off. If you'd like to stick around, feel free to turn your microphone on, ask some questions or throw them in the chat. But again, thank you very much for everybody's time today.